listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, the one you love to hate and hate to love. Isn't it great? It's awesome. My only dream is that you hate me enough to wake up or love me enough to wake up. Either way, you win. Funny, so do I. Isn't that neat how that works? I thought it was really cool. Here's your big challenge. A couple of things I want to go over tonight in particular. And it seems to be an ongoing sort of thing on occasion of others trying to imprint their realities on others. And I've covered this countless times before, but let me use this example. As soon as someone comes up to you and you're just kind of minding your own business, and they look at you, what's wrong with you? You seem angry, or you seem upset, and you're not. You're fine. You're maybe just off in the dream something. They go, no, I'm fine. I said, no. You look upset to me. No, I'm fine. And then before you know it, they've imprinted their reality on you, and you bought it. Me, I just look at it. No, I'm fine. Anything further to that, I'm just going to tell you to fuck off. Now I've imprinted your reality. And you will. You'll fuck off. Promise. Right? And anything you're trying to imprint on somebody else by making a claim as to their reality is exactly what you need to go and look in the mirror for. That's the real red pill. Morpheus didn't really explain it too well, but let me explain it for you. Here's how you get to see how attached you are to everything in your physical universe. Get up right now, walk out the door, and don't look back. To the degree that you can do that is the degree that you're a slave to this place. Now you can see your strings, Pinocchio. Tug, 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 puppet, puppet, puppet. Can't let go, can't let go. I've got this, I've got a house, I've got a family, I got that. See, that's why I keep telling people I am one of the luckiest beings on this planet. Because knowing full well that had I been playing the game the way it could have went, if all things legal were real, which they're not, it's quite the joke. That's the children trying to look after the babysitter. Okay? How's that going to work for mankind? Didn't think it'd work too well. But when you start seeing the things that you're possessed of, by the things that you cannot walk away from, now you're seeing the quagmire that you are bogged down in. And like I said, I'm the luckiest of lucky in that in one night, my whole universe went up in a mushroom cloud where everything was stripped and ripped away. So obviously on my infinite times around on this merry-go-round called Groundhog Day, going through the life, dying, coming back at the beginning with more information, coming back through the same life. That's what your deja vu is. Those are your checkpoints to say, you're still doing the same shit. Time to change the path you're on. Unless you want to keep coming back and doing the same shit. Can you imagine living your life? Just think about it right now. Living your life exactly the same way again. Boy, that's fulfilling, isn't it? This is what it means to have the nails in the coffin. And the only way you pull out a nail is to pull out the French version of it. You need to pull out a clou. A clue. And every clue you find, in truth, is one nail pulled from that coffin. This is where you're leaving the I'm mortal game, if you can. If not, well, enjoy your trip back. Bill Murray had a hell of a fucking time with it until he got to the end of the movie. And I would recommend everybody watch Groundhog Day from this perspective. That's you, and you're coming back, instead of it being one day, it's a full lifetime. Now, I don't know about you, but that's really motivational to me. That's the giddy up your horse. That's the mark of the beast, the horse of the beast. Universe is yours. So why limit yourself to little things? I mean, truly, if you are God, which I know you are. If I was God, and I know I am, this is what I would do. I would choose the path that sets me free versus getting back on the same merry-go-round, hopefully graduating to the outside ring where all the unicorns are, where you can actually have a look at what's going by you. And then you start noticing the things as you do the complete circles. It was like I was saying yesterday about the Voynich manuscript. That came into my realm 5-10 years ago. And it showed up again. So I see it in the now as a full circle of that merry-go-round. And remember, these circles, the merry-go-round from the center to the outside, the center is moving very slowly. The outside is moving quickly because it's got to cover more area. So it depends on where on the LP you are. The further out on the wheel you go, the faster you're going, or if you've never been on a merry-go-round. Only those that stay towards the center of the merry-go-round can stay on it and see it in full clarity. But there's the trap too, because if you're at the center of the merry-go-round, you have a long way to go to get out. But you got to go in to get out. So this is why every curse is a blessing, every blessing is a curse. Because when you get to this point, you start noticing these things of, well, it's less tumultuous, so I'm going to go to the far outside. Everything's going to blur by me. I'm not going to see it until I start getting myself centered. Spiritually centered, not ego-centered. Remember I talked about the audience to director back to audience? It's the same thing. From the center of the merry-go-round to the outside, back to the center. Now you have a full scope of everything that's going on. And as things go by, they're going by much slower. And you control the wheel of fortune that you're on. How fast it spins and how slow it spins. Where you are on that LP is going to determine how quickly you're moving. I got to tell you, the singularity concept of bringing all things, up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. You travel far enough east, you're going to be west, aren't you? You travel far enough west, you're going to be east. Just depends on which direction you're going. I prefer to be at the center of my universe, in the heart, at which point it's still, and I can observe everything from a neutral position. I can start putting the neutrons back into the atom of the an-atom me, magnetic electric. That's the problem with here. Yes, the number of the beast is 666. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. And you can tell this by how many neutrons they've collected. It's very easy to spot an uber male or an uber female. They still need to collect some electrons or protons to balance that part out. And once they get that done, now they can start working on the neutrons. Because it's the neutrons that hold the whole atom together. It's another fractal of the same shit I talk about every single night. And for those that really want to see it, you will. And for those that don't, you'll keep saying but, you'll keep saying if, you'll keep saying maybe, you'll keep saying might. And then I'll remind you, keep going. You get to come back to this same game again. How'd you like it the first time? Oh, you didn't like it that much. Is there anything you do different? Yeah? Well, here's your chance. You're being presented with the chance right now to do something fucking different. And what you decide to do is yours. But don't say door of opportunity hasn't knocked, because it just did. Again. What you choose to do with that knocking is you will either open the door and let the angels in, or you'll keep it closed and keep all the demons in there with you. You got some laundry to sort out. I know, I had some. There's a lot of stuff to let go, and there's a lot of fear attached to it. That's where you become the frayed cat, the frayed consciousness, spirit, crucified. No, there are no coincidences in the sounds. And I can take each and every single one of these and show you the full circle. If you want to see it. You see, where people think that I'm offering fish, not at all. What I'm offering you is this. This is what I found in my travels. This is what I found that worked. This is the fishing rod I use. The Phi Shine rod. I remember G is silent with me. I get rid of the curse. G is only half the spirit. And it's the hex side of it. It's a 6. Have a look at the capital G and you tell me it's not a 6. They didn't finish it, but the intention certainly shows where it's going, doesn't it? It's spiraling in, egocentric. And it's, of course, the newest letter in the English alphabet, which replaced the 7th letter, H, Ash, God. Asha, Asha, we all fall down, indeed. No, I'm not going to be gentle, because I care too much. I've got work to do on me. And this is how I do the work on me. I get to show it in the contrast. I get the beautiful opportunity of sharing these things with other points of you, other points of magnetic electric me, to bounce the reflections off to see what comes back, what I need to correct within me. That's what it means to correct your position. That's where we get together and we wreck it. That's what it means to be correct. We get rid of the shit together. But the ego wants to be correct. Absolutely it does. It wants to be wrecked all by itself. And it's doing a great job if you let it. Oh, I feel it all the time. But, Kate. Yeah, but, what? Can you walk out your front door right now? Can you leave it all behind? Now you see your trap. Well done. Pretty good one, huh? Now I dare someone to tell me they feel sorry for my position. Mirror, mirror. It is I who feel sorry for you, if I was to feel that. Just a literal comparison. The instant you decide to let go is the instant your kite will fly. You see, the anchor works in two ways. If the anchor is stuck and you can't get the anchor up, that's not a good thing. But if it's storming outside and your inside harbor is calm, throw your anchor there. That'll keep your ship still. Now it has a positive intent. Whereas most people are floating around in their ships, they're tied to every problem in their stormy seas. Wow, it's a hurricane. Better drop anchor. I don't think you'll see too many captains that do that. Not in the real world, anyway. What does a real captain do? Well, a real captain turns into the wind and drives forward through the waves. Never runs with them, because that'll capsize the boat. You plow right through the middle of it to get out of that storm. And as soon as you find safe harbor, then you drop your anchor and try to stay there for a while. And when you feel secure enough to move, then you'll weigh anchor, encore, aura, ship is mind. Correlate all of these things. Take the words and start looking how they work, and you will see all of the fractal layers. The whole Admiralty system is the human body, is the zodiac, is everything. Look at the words. Listen. See with your ears. Not I call my elves. Me elves. Not K-N-O-T. I. Yes, A-Y-E, or I, E-Y-E, or self, I. See how many different intentions there are in that? Which one are you doing? Oh, well, you're going to assume, based on the common Babylonian of English, everyday common speak, in whatever context we are speaking. When I said we, you didn't hear the French word yes, did you? When I said you heard Y-O-U. You didn't hear E-W-E. You certainly didn't see the capital letter U, which is intent. When you start peeling the layers off the words, then you start peeling the layers off the fractals, and you will see for yourself. It is that fucking simple. I can tolerate literal for a while. Right now I am speaking to you literally with a very anagogic approach to it. I have grown long weary of really, really, really neat words that people use and have no idea what the word is. It just sounds cool because everyone else is doing it, and I look cool if I use it. Yeah, well, then you're in somebody else's image. Welcome back to the Fool card. That's 0. That's Percival. Me, I'm hanging out with the Giants dance at the universe. 21. The 777 called God. You see, now I have the choice. I can be both of those things whenever I choose to be. That's the contrast. From being the fool to being the universe. And what is even more funny is how stressed people get when dealing with lawyers and courts and judges and all the rest of that fucking nonsense. When they are the most baby of all. They are the babies trying to look after the babysitter. And you, the babysitter, are letting them, thinking they have power. The only power they have is that which you grant them. And here's the clincher. The very things that I am showing you right now with phonics is exactly the trap that is used. But when you've got a bunch of very low consciousness beings, very early in the game, ruled by their ego, their greed, their need for this new BMW, this big house, and all the rest of the fancy cars, that's why anything that comes along, and I hate using these words because of the dominoes that trigger, but I have to use them sometimes. It's like, what can a fucking Rothschild promise me? Nothing. I don't accept boxes that contain shined up dog shit with pretty bows on them. And when you really get what I'm saying, you will understand it. And your aha moments will go exponential for you. Or you can let someone else keep doing your thinking for you by letting them imprint their reality upon you. Or you can finally stand up like a grown-up babysitter and say enough. I was talking last night about writing your epic. This is where you get to the, you might pronounce it epicenter. Or the epicentaur. Everyone knows what a centaur is. It's half man, half fucking beast. And epi means under. Did you ever decide to maybe throw a slice through that word? At epic and enter? That's where you get to the real center of you. You got to get in the middle on this. If you're polarized, judging, you are not in the middle. You are polarized. You're running protons or electrons, no neutrons. The neutrons are the things that balance the atom out. And even science goes, well, we're not quite sure what a neutron does. Well, you got the dark matter, and you've got what are the other two things? Oh, the hidden strong force and the hidden weak force. They don't even know what it is. And I'm trying to tell you what it is. It's you. The silence of magnetism, the true source of creation. This is not rocket science. And I just saw both versions of that run right by in perfect balance. Rokati, K-N-O-T. So I don't mind when people talk literal. It's the only way we can really explain things. It's when they get caught in it. By going through all of their Marsha dramas as to how they figured it out. Why don't you just share the concept? I don't need the story. I'm writing my own, thank you. And like I said last night, have a look at your life. What kind of epic are you writing? Oh, you're definitely entering that epic, aren't you? If your life was a TV show, how do you think your ratings would be? That high, huh? Sarcasm. Where are you on the spiral stage? Others call it world, I call it spiral. Are you writing a different story than someone else? Do you know why people come to this table? It's because there's an interesting story here. There's something about it that brings you to this table because it is in the form of creation. It's not in the form of effect, it's cause. And why you're here is because you know that you are the same, that you have that. You're just trying to find the fishing rod to get you there. Here it is. I'm not going to imprint my reality on yours. I will share what I have. This is what I discovered on my epic enter. While my poet is doing the writing for this scribe. I'm the writer of my own story. R-I-T-E-R, the ritualisticer, the one that casts the spells, the writer, the author, the golden hammer of truth. Authority, the golden hammer of truth I love. Thor and Loki are both the same, completely opposite and identical at the same time. It depends on whether you want to stay in the low key or head up the mountain and hike it, high key. It's entirely up to you. But don't cry me a river. I cried enough of my own, and then I said, oh, that's kind of stupid. I'd rather laugh. It's way more fun. And I cannot stress enough. If you spend the time just reading what I've written, these are all things in that epic center that I'm talking about. People ask me, "Oh, okay, you just download." Yeah, because I don't think. I just put it out there. I don't think about what I have to say. People say, "Well, how do you plan your?" I don't. The only thing that comes into my world is, well, I got to be somewhere at 7 o'clock. I had a couple of things to do today. Did a thing over in the UK. Ended up based on timing and whatever with the afternoon one. I didn't actually get to that one. And again, if this is my request to all. If you want me at your table, just give me a little heads up. I kind of have a few things going on. You know, dozens of phone calls, things to write, shows to do. Give me 24 hours just to give me a heads up. And that way I can also promote it too. And do not use Facebook, please. And this is no harm, no foul on anyone, because I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it until people actually fucking hear me. I do not use Facebook as my message center. I don't live on Facebook. You want me? I live on Skype. Don't email me, because I haven't even opened my email today. Facebook, I've looked at a couple of times. Skype, it's right there in front of me. So that's what I'm going to ask of everybody. Saves confusion. I don't think those terms are outrageous. You want me? Well, there's how to get me. The easiest, fastest, right in my face way. I think that's fair. If somebody says, here's the phone number, and I call a different phone number, am I going to get them or not? And whose fault is it? Okay. It's not about fault either. It's just simply, let's look at it logically. Let's use our Spock brain instead of our Kirk emotions. Right? Yeah, I was working on something today. Maybe let me see, what have I got here? Oh, and I've made it really, really, really clear to people, and I will make it really, really clear now. Anyone comes at this table and tries to imprint me or anyone with any of their things that they need to look at within themselves, the show ends. It's that simple. I'm not going to make it a one-on-one here. I'm going to make it you against all. The whole table. That might make you a little bit more mindful, where, people think they might be able to get away with things with me. No. And I'm going to urge you not to test me on that one. Because you know what I'm like. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. So what was it I was working on today? I didn't get a chance to finish it. It's an essay. It's gonna be called The Merry-Go-Round. It's what I've started so far. So I'll have a look at this. And guys, I got to tell you, and this is only based on the constant things that keep coming at me, the constant things that I have to keep repeating. I have got far too many bruises from being beat over the head with 100-ounce gold bars that I keep handing people. I would ask that you don't do that. So I've made a commitment to myself. I have decided that I'm not going to allow anyone to beat me up anymore. I'm not going to allow anyone that wants to put conditions on my unconditional universe. So the conditions that are being placed here are yours, not mine. In all benevolence, all are welcome. The only terms and conditions that are going to get put on that are the ones you put on it. And mark my words, I don't care if we're 10 minutes into a table talk and that happens, I will end the episode. Let's see you tomorrow. Oh, by the way, there's probably over 1 million people you just pissed off with your trying to imprint someone or myself at the table with your ego issue. We're trying to claim an energy that is someone else, that isn't mine. You see, when people do that, they're placing conditions on each other. It's not a neutral observation. And this has happened time and time and time and time again. Last night was the last straw. I'm not picking on anybody. It's got nothing to do with anybody. This has been a collective ongoing. And then when I get to the straw point, I go, okay, that camel's done. It's unpacked. If you want to make a claim of somehow you think you know what I feel, that is your mirror. That is what you need to look at. And it's amazing how quickly that displays itself. That which you claim another to be is that which you are yourself. May I suggest? I simply look at it from the, well, that's not something I would do anymore, or that's something I would do. That resonates. I can feel that, and it thinks right. Yeah, I can do that. That's benevolent. That's kind of where I sit, so I'm good with that. But you try to imprint me, or anybody at this table, well, the whole table goes down. And then you've got everybody to deal with. That'll make you think twice before you say something, won't it? 'Cause that's all it is. People are just too quick to jump out with fucking ego games. And this bitch has had enough. I'm done with it. Because I'll tell you what you're doing to yourself. You are fucking killing yourself. You keep pushing it back to the I'm mortal. When the whole purpose of me in this table is very simple. You're gods. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to empower gods. So here's what I have so far, and then I'll see what I can continue on with. But let's get in the vibe of this. It is Saturday night, right? Okay, good. Kate Bitch Rat night. I love it. Oh, Jesus Christ, I got to tell you, these people that are so intellectually retarded, and I love the ones that say, I'm awake, and then they go off in this fucking rhetoric. Mindless blather of intellectual stupidity. And they want to turn around and say that they're awake? Yeah, awake to what? Garbage in, garbage out. Life is a fickle game. Literally a phi-cull game. Phi, sacred creation, cull, harvest. This is the realm where we come to play and get caught up in the dramas and distractions to see if we can finally let go of them to see this. The amount of drama you have in your life is the quintessential mirror of your woven webs. In essence, you are on a suicide mission, which is easy to prove if you think you have a tombstone with your I'm mortal name on it, waiting for you, or if you choose to finally be immortal. The ego balks at such a thing as being impossible, but then I leave the realm of believers behind in the age of Pisces, or Pisces, pieces, where I prefer the Aquarian waters of truth. You will know the shift in your own consciousness to the degree that you get that last statement or two. When you see it, your eyes will grow large like saucers, and a calm as you've long forgotten will wash over you. This game is a 1-by-1 versus a mass awakening, But then such is and always will be the savior program of the many, too afraid or too lazy to do the work, to step off the merry-go-round and seek another to save them. That's not how the game works. But the good news is, if you fail to become immortal this time, don't worry. You get to come back through the same lifetime in Groundhog Day fashion. This might be a good time to stop being affected by the past, because you're just going to go through it again in a different timeline loop. When you can see the infinite realities and timelines that all exist now, it's easy to see the game plan. You get so many kicks at the same time until you short out your loop. Drop the current body and return to the instant of your birth to start from scratch all over. Woohoo! Ever experienced deja vu? Now you have a choice as to whether or not you can deal with your dramas now, or relive them over and over until you finally had enough. I grow weary of the supposed gurus of this realm who spew the same old ego rhetoric and haven't a clue as to who and what they really are. People are so involved in other people's dramas that they never notice their own until usually it's too late. Reboot. All reality points lead to the now moment, regardless of their perceived location, because every start point at birth has the thread that reconnects to the main line or the consciousness trunk line, where it's up to you and every point of you to thread back to the now. Imagine a tree where the roots and branches merge together, and then you'll see the toroidal field we all play in as one, separately. This is the ride of the universe, and depending if you ride this coaster screaming or hands up, baby, and all points in between is indicative of your spiritual growth and development within the game of the mind. Dramas and debate are the realms of the ego id mind, or the no-go I had mind. That's what I have so far. This one's going to be an interesting one. Well, id, put a post trophy in there, and you have I'd, which is I had, past tense. Don't assume and presume anything with me, because I'll stick commas and apostrophes and whatever and wherever I want. But being spellbound, you didn't hear that, you see, because I make it all silent. Oh, isn't that where the magnetism spell casting is? Yeah, it's right there. But most of your ears are too blind to see this, because your eyes have been made deaf by spells. This is why we can converse so easily in a language and be so controlled by it, because we assume and presume all of the spellings via the sounds and the words that follow words that follow words that follow words. Easy to prove. You've all seen that little thing that comes around where the first letter and the last letter are the same in the word, but all the in-betweens are jumbled. And you can still read it. And you can read it just like regular, because that's how the mind is programmed. If you want proof of the illusion, there it is. You've seen all the eye tests that, only so many people can read this. Only so many people will see it turning left or right. The dancing ballerina one, you've seen that. Which side of your brain are you using? I love asking people, and they say, "Oh, it was turning left to right," which means left brain thinking, right? I said, "Oh, that means you're in the literal left mind." "Oh, no, it was right, actually, it was right," which only goes to prove that what I just said to them was right, because the ego's left brain. It wants to defend every fucking thing it says. It's got to be perfect. See, that's the vain, the vanity. Weather vane? Oh, which means you'll go with whatever direction the wind is flowing. The mirror vein? Yeah. How about the vein in your arm? How about the veins of silver and gold, truth and godness? Start listening to words differently. You guys have seen my writings. You've seen how I've thrown paragraphs together with all different words that sound the same. I've read them out on the air. And then you read it and go, what the fuck is that? Well, that's what I read. But you assumed literal because you've been programmed into hearing literal. So show and tell. Remember? Show and tell. Now, what I write in terms of, if instead of writing Y-O-U, I'll write E-W-E or the letter U, right? Does that change the intent within the spell? You're goddamn right it does. I love you. What, you love sheep? Me too. You love intent? Me too. You love you? Me too. Only that which you decide is your intent is what carries on the magnetic carrier. And as soon as you break the literal, now that intent is carrying across a magnetic field. And guess what happens? Your moat starts to fill because it's filling with truth. Your truth, not somebody else's definition or definition. This is how you fill your moat. Your spell casting ability. By changing the definitions of words, the of Phoenician, the sounds, which all creation is made of sound, you're changing creation itself. Pretty cool, huh? I thought so too. So keep in mind, guys, I don't mind literal. It's when it gets into anything to do with New Age and the rest of the fucking rhetoric that these monkeys out there that chatter. That's not what this table is for. This is to get to the nitty-gritty of stuff, guys. It's not for the dramas. It's not for the be, do, and havers. It's not for the gurus. It's not for the egos. It's not for those that want to imprint on others' realities. This is an open, neutral forum to throw shit on the table to sort through for the diamonds, for the gems. And then we get rid of the other stuff. Start looking in your own mirrors. Many have judged me. Incorrectly, I might add. Because I know my intent. And anyone that comes at me thinking I have a malintent doesn't know the first thing about me. You see, my benevolent intent is very simple. Here's a 100-ounce bar of truth. Oh, why are you beating me with it? The deceivers are everywhere, guys. And I'm one of them. Oh, it depends on your interpretation of deceiver. Of, see, truth. See, ver. Oh, of creation of truth. De, say, ver. Of creation of green. Of, say, ver. Funny how that works. But then if you're pigeonholed into one language, you'll never figure this out. Start creating your dreams instead of living in your nightmares. Dare to stand up to the monkeys and start writing your epic. Eric is. You've probably seen the King Eric in Jack the Giant Slayer. Yeah? This is where it goes to from epic to Eric, because the P is the reverse. It is the hex. Where all those that are worshiping Ro Me are giving away their spirit breath to another. Where it should be Po Me. P is the mirror of Ro. P swings to the right, Ro swings to the left. P-O-M-E. Let me see. Po Me. That's spirit seed of magnetic electric. That's right. And you can pronounce it poem. I mentioned this last night. All roads lead from poem. Your poem. Or you can keep going, all roads lead to Rome. Remember, we had to get to Rome to leave Rome, to get to Rome to leave Rome. It's as it is above, it is below. Rome, that's your read-only memory. That's the consciousness allegory. So you take from the Rome drive to put onto your now clear RAM drive that's not talking about monkey shit. Watch Math Magic, the Walt Disney YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's free. Donald Duck, Math Magic. And you'll see the scene where, well, you got to get into the left brain and clean out all the garbage, all the pinups, all this and all that, and all the rest of the shit. You got to get rid of that stuff. All the day-to-day nonsense that you just love and grovel at the garbage. I equate that to a bunch of people sitting around festering sores with straws. Yummy. Garbage in, garbage out. That's your system. That's the cyst of the electromagnetic, where it should be the psi stem, which is spirit of divine feminine magnetic electric. Put everything in the mirror and you'll see it. Dare to put yourself in the mirror. Put yourself on that pedestal. You know, pedestal. That might ring a bell. Yeah, a few of those running around. Very low level points of consciousness. That's okay, and here's the joy of this. If you think you having to come back through your life again to figure it out, that's why the tombstones have all caps names. You never lived. You want to be immortalized, and it's not going to be in a statue. It's not going to be on a tombstone. It's because you're going to be immortal eyes. Sorry, God needs no idols. What story are you writing? Tell you what, I'll sit down with someone and we'll compare stories. And from an epic point of view, or Eric, E, consciousness, Ro, I, the self, in unconditional love, the note of C, versus the reverse of it. Then it becomes the era center. Centaur, center, say, and tree. Tree, 3 with a silent H. Remember, every letter can be silent. I've already shown you that. Phoenician starter kit. The big clue I got was from the ancient Greeks. There's only one language that the M is silent. Maybe the Greeks were trying to tell you something. I just paid attention. And I'll tell you, this whole thing with the Voynich manuscript, I know exactly what the key is, and it's a key that none of these intellectuals are going to look at. Because they can't see with their ears. I can. And there's a few out there that are listening right now that can do this too. I know I'm not alone. I know there are many points of consciousness in this timeline because as I improve me in how I create myself, lo and behold, the new and improved versions of the immortal yous start showing up. And the ones that get this, I know are already immortal. Because I am. And the more I know this, and the more I show this, the more it's going to show itself in other points of view. So make your choice. You want to be the mortal meat stick and be immortalized with immortalized past tense on a tombstone, or you might even be lucky enough to have one of those really fancy statues over your grave. All the while you've re-entered your timeline back whatever. Let's say if I was to repeat this timeline, then that means I go back to June 15th, 1964, 8:40 a.m. in a different timeline that exists right now. That version of me is still there. But see, that's the difference. I'm in my now. Because I'm consciously aware of where I am now. All those other realities exist. You're just not aware of them. And all I'm trying to show you is how to see this. It's what I found, and this was a really cool fishing rod. I landed some big ones with this, and they're getting bigger every day. And there's others I hear from you guys. And I do love to hear from other points of me, magnetic electric, you, intent, that get this. Because it satiates the ego as well. You see, you got to make both sides happy. You got to keep everybody happy here. The ego is very self-pleasing. It loves to feed itself and stand on a stage and be glory this and glory that and all the rest of it. And then turn around, oh look, another headstone. What, are you collecting these things or what? And anything you can imagine, it's already been experienced. No, done that. Anytime, see, here's the thing about getting rid of bad thoughts in your mind. They're already realities that you experienced. You just have to choose to not experience them anymore. I've already been there, done that. Marsha. Don't need to see that one again. And it is that simple. And it doesn't matter how many times that wants to pop up. You've already made your point note on it. No, I've been there. It's good. I don't need to see that anymore. Why is it some people can do something and it works and others do the exact same thing and it doesn't? Well, it's got nothing to do with a piece of paper now, does it? I mean, everybody buys a lottery ticket. They're all pieces of paper with different little imprints on it. But typically only one or a few win. But they're all still the same piece of paper, same game. It's really taking a long, hard look outside the box here, outside this Professor Stephen box. You've got your own Voynix manuscript. Start writing it. Because only you can write it. Nobody else can. I'm writing mine. People say, oh, okay, you should write a book about your life. And I said, what the fuck? I'm still writing it. What do you think I do every day? Why would I limit myself to that? My book is ongoing. They're called SAs, or Consciousness Creations. E-Says. Just a coincidence that word worked out the way it did, especially with what I'm talking about right now. It's just a coincidence, right? Like every other fucking thing that I say every night is a coincidence. And I've heard a few people say, well, you know, I'd listen to Kate, but you know, she swears on occasion. And I said, yeah, that's to show how stuck you are on a charge on a word that somebody else defined for you. See, this is why I know when people use it, I know when there's intention in it. I can feel it. They still have charge on it. They still use it in that way. Me, I just love having it neutral. Toss it in, a little sprinkle of spice, if you will. Just to see if people are still sitting on the edge of their seat going, ooh. Well, the reaction you felt, it's not from me, that's yours. You see, I'm giving it out with the perfect intention of what fuck means. And until you truly get this, and I know the ones that don't, the ones that say it, I can still feel it. Still haven't got the concept of this to neutralize the word. It's the root note, fa, with intent, you. In unconditional love, si, the note, the highest note of all, si, open creation, open to all and accepting all things in and out, in the ka, spirits. Yeah, fuck you. It's a beautiful thing. Of course it is. Look at all the things that have been made nasty in our world. And look at the power of the intent that was placed on that. It's like when you listen to Osho when he was talking about fuck in all these different ways. There was a man that knows what the word means. That's someone that doesn't have charge on that word. That word to me is the same as saying slipper, cat, cloud. They're all neutral. And to the degree that you were still polarized and still under the spell of what you've been programmed with, and you consented to it, is the degree that you are setting yourself free from the spell binding. You're starting to look into the words to neutralize them yourself, because I cannot do it for you. No, you got to create God in your image. I'm just showing you my nice shiny fishing rod, my Phi Shine. Rho D, Rho Delta. And everyone thought Rhoda was a comedy. Yeah. Indeed. All right, guys. Well, listen. Let's open this up to see how it goes. Here's your test drive to see if you're gonna. Hey, literal's cool, as long as you're explaining concepts and whatever. That's cool. But the instant anybody tries to imprint on anybody, end episode. And it will be that quick. I will never hang up on one. The only one I will ever hang up on is me. So no harm, no foul. It's kind of neutral that way, isn't it? And that is a 3T. You might pronounce it threat, but it's a creation. 3 in the note of love. We got a mic ready to open. Hey, how are you doing?
Kate.
How are ya?
Hi, Kate.
What's on your mind? I know, it makes you kind of nervous to come on the table now, doesn't it? Oh, fuck, I got to think about what I have to say now. Isn't it great? Oh, let's play. Let's play. Come on. This is beautiful.
Kate.
Yeah.
Am I there?
You are so there.
I'm sorry.
Are you?
Kate.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say okay.
Okay.
Kate,
Good.
I'm there. You are the greatest unteaching teacher on the face of this friggin' planet.
I'll rip your programs apart. I love you that much.
Do you know it?
Yeah, actually, that's the beautiful thing. And I got to tell you, I've mentioned in that, I have a couple of paragraphs in that essay. When you find this point, it's such a place of calm, so long forgotten, of that sudden realization of, I'm immortal. Cool.
Absolutely.
And then you go from there.
Yeah. You're slamming the friggin' ball out of the ballpark. I mean, it's like my energy. Like right now, my hands are I'm shaking, just not because I'm talking with you, and that's kind of like what I don't like doing. Like, you know, but I guess it's part of the plan. I guess you could say.
Well, here let's have a look at that. That's a beautiful example. So it's an energy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's have a look at it, because you're the one looking at that energy, so I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to imprint you. What I'm going to ask you is a couple of things, because I've had that experience, so I'm going to share what I've had to see if there's resonation between us, so that only you know what's real to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you what's real to you. I'm going to tell you what's real to me, and we'll see how we meet in the middle. This is how we do it together, right? I'm not imprinting you. You're not imprinting me. We're kind of going, yeah, I see the orange too. That's what I'm talking about. So for me, I'll describe what that feels like to me, and I've had that many times. And it's not a nervousness. It's nothing like that. For me, it's like you're open to this energy flow, and you're not sure where it came from, but you know it hit, and you just kind of go, that's really cool, and it's like a new ride. You're not quite sure how to handle it, and then you ease into it, and it goes, yeah, that feels really cool. And then it suddenly abates, and it starts to feel calm, probably much like it is right now with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
That's the energy bolts that I speak of that hit me, and they come in literally flashes of light. And I'm constantly going through my day like this, where it's bam, 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 constantly, and it's like, this is cool, and I have a great time doing it. You know?
You're just beautiful at expressing it. That's what my next function is to get it out of these lips, because my ears, like you see, we know this, the ones that are immortal, the ones that know that my ears is what I value more than anything, because the thing that's coming out of me right now is useless if I do not comprehend listening. That's why you've done that. You do that very well. It's
well, here's a perspective. Let me share this way. I just want to make sure I'm resonating with you on this. For me, what worked for me, my fishing rod, when I was working on it, what worked for me was getting to the point of, and remember, the nature of being I am. So I've been through this very, very fortunate curse, okay? What a gift. Oh, my God. But what it gave me was a willingness to hate everything about me, so that when somebody else hated me, it didn't matter. And then I went through that phase of, self-awareness, and there's still tinges of it. Don't kid yourself. I know who I am, and I know what I feel when I feel it. So when I feel it, I go, I still need to. There's a little bit of adjustment on the radio dial I got to do, and that's cool, because I can accept that. That's cool. I am perfect, and I'm not perfect at the same time. It's wonderful. So for me, when I reached that willingness to be hated as much as to be loved, because they're both the same thing, that's where I found my 0 point. And out of that, I will tell you, that's where the blatant honesty will come out of you. It's where you don't give a shit about what people think about you. This is what I think. Deal with it or not. you're going to be here or you're not, and the universe is going to have everything around me that I need. I've already proven that to myself, and I'm sure you have to you, and everyone that's listening to a lesser or greater degree has. I don't know. I'm not your experience. What I can share is this point of you sitting over here as another point of you in the form of me, magnetic electric. Isn't it neat how it works? What sound does a cow make? Moo, M-U-E. Magnetic intent into consciousness. Imagine that. Almost works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the cow jumped over the moon, baby.
But I'm just another point of view, I guess. You must recognize it because, like, I listened to last night's, because I don't listen to everything, like, at the same time. I'm off, walking and just and like you, I get thinking I got to shut myself off. I'm like, shut down. And hearing you with the Opus Rex, you had talked about that a little bit. You had mentioned it before too, so it's kind of like this time traveling thing, and it was just it's just perfect. It's perfect.
The dance of energies.
Yeah,
it's
and when you're hitting the notes, and I'm for real. I'm not just saying this, and I'm not.
I know.
Listen,
no, I tell you, I know when someone is using an ego to try to improve their position by thinking.
Yeah.
And I already know this before because I can feel it before they even open their mouth. So I already know, and what I love is the fact that you can confirm that for you, and I'm just making you right. If that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Because when I pat myself on the back, it's a subtle energy and it's tricky, and if I find myself, because like I discover things, if I pat myself on the back, I reach around with my left hand and say, what are you doing, and I grab his arm.
That is
his uncle.
That is the difference. You just nailed the difference between an ego pat on the back and a spiritual pat on the back. The minute you question it as an ego means you found the spirit side of it.
Right.
It's a perfect
like
mirror.
You said, absolutely. And that's like you said, the 0 point, and that's where I find myself is between the two mirrors.
There we go. That's the magic, man. That's the Sei-Ro, the creation of spirit breath. Po, seed.
I see the guy over there.
I, mind, love. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And it's now the literal, which this probably won't sound literal. This will sound like a fantasy. Is that when I was, if it's okay, this might take a couple of minutes, but it's valid, absolutely, to what it is you were talking about, the loop when you go through the, you die. The trick is to die now. That's the trick, is to not wait for and that's the ego doesn't want to. It wants that part, the manipulation of the energies, in the real sense, the true heart intent of seeking that rather than anything else, and that's what has to be set in motion.
Can I expand on that one thing you just said there?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, because you nailed it. I was going to put it in another perspective, and it goes back to leaving everything behind. You see, when I say to people, have a look at your life, can you walk out the door and leave everything behind? And automatically, the ego goes into defense mode of possession, protection. I didn't say go and do it. I only asked you the question. Like the typical of Hannibal Lecter will let, whether it was Will or Clarice, look at that, Clear Isis or the Will I Am, seriously, said the same thing, but depending on how you heard it, whether you were part of the cattle, the herd, or whether you really heard it as a spiritual being, is the big difference. So I didn't say go and do it, but automatically, and everyone listening right now that reacted, you're going to know that that was ego saying, "Oh," and you went all literal. I didn't ask you to do it. I just asked, "Can you do it?" So have a look at it from the "can you do it?" And when you finally see what it is I just said, you'll have your aha. I know I did. It was, you see, I was lucky though. I had it ripped from me. So, in the literal sense, I didn't have a choice, but I did, because we all do. That's what this is all about. The key of creation of the I in creation. That's what choice is. Ki o I say. Depends on how you pronoun and say it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, beautiful. Like, you know what, man? I can see you between the mirrors because I'm there. So let's hang out.
Yeah, it's and
now,
and that's the trick. And the funny thing is when you see one of those, because like you said, it goes on for infinity. I mean, that's just when one of those infinite selves steps to the side, because like you said, I'm moving laterally. Was it laterally?
Yeah, you're moving from west to east instead of north to south, because north to south is an out of balance magnet. When you find your balance in the middle, now you're on the lateral time slide. Then you can choose. And I'll tell you, the easiest way to do this is just there's only one choice to make here. There's only one. Truth. And as soon as you discover something, it's like when I went back through the mortgage stuff and all the rest of this, going back a couple of years or more, 3 years, 4 years ago, as soon as I made a deal with myself that as soon as I found truth, regardless of how hard it was going to be to stand in it, I chose to stand in it. And I did. And that, if there is any difference between this point of view and any other point of view, was that. That's it. And there are others that have made that same choice. And you'll see them running at the forefront. I mean, I'll look at someone like a Bill Donahue. There's a man that chose to stand in the truth in the face of everything in terms of what Religio Cosus Chosenitis was teaching. And he was actually teaching what the Bible and the Quran, and he got into the Vedics, and he got into all of these different religions. He showed how they all worked. Hare Krishna, Muhammad, Jesus, all of these different characters, literary characters throughout history, all told the same story, all in the same way, just saying the same thing differently. It's like saying, well, that's a blue chair, and someone says, well, no, that's a chair blue. And then someone else will go, it's allegorical. It is upon a place to sit as the color of the sky. That's a blue chair.
Yeah.
Just depends on how you say it. I just chose to be the poet, and I go to the third one.
Yep. And what the heck was I just gonna say?
And I want to share gratitude with you. Thank you for speaking in the literal sense with an anagogic purpose.
Absolutely. You're welcome. And thank you for what you're doing. I mean, and you're not gonna. That's why, like you said, the immortals, literally, right? So because a lot of people don't think that that's literal being immortal, because they still think they die. So I am,
and die they will,
pretty much. And
until they figure it out. Here's the trick, my friend. What is being handed here right now is the keys to immortality. And look how many egos are fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
I could have this conversation with any number of highly intelligent, intellectual people that I know very well, and not one of them will get it.
Right. No. Probably not. They might be interested. You might hit a note, strike a note within them.
Well, then they'll
yeah, they'll ponder off and might stay on the road for a while. You know, the seeds by the wayside, and get distracted by all the distractions. And that's the realization is the imagination. The ego is realizing that it's not real. It's not real.
You're dealing in a literal reality. Let me give you an example in a literal way. Whenever I'm offering things out, as far as what I've learned and how I found it and what I did to find it. I mean, I've went into great detail on so many things. I mean, really, if you listen back to the last 3 or 4 weeks of shows and just listen to those, you would have all the answers you need. So with me, it's like this. Imagine yourself to be me, because you are actually, but let's just pretend I'm still this different point of view. My intention is pure benevolence, to give people back the power of God that they are, because I know that they're me. I get it, okay?
Yep.
And
right.
Anyone that wants to debate this is essentially saying this to me. Kate, you're a liar.
Right.
How would you feel?
Nope.
Would you put up with it 7 nights a week, 2-3 hours a night, and do this all day, every day, just because you felt like it? It's not a debate. Mm-hmm. It actually is a debate. I'm taking the bait off the hooks.
Mm-hmm.
So when
the
people want to, people want to debate. Well, next time someone wants to debate with me, is that debate or debate? You wanna of-bait me. Okay, well, does that make you a masturbator? And I'm really not in the mood. Thanks, but anyway,
Right.
By the way, just let 270, you're in the call. You can jump in any time. As soon as your mic's open, just jump in. Like, don't wait to be invited. Gods don't need that. They just kind of show up and create shit. It's awesome. No permission needed.
Hey, nope. You know what's funny, Kate? 26 letters of the alphabet. You add up 6 and 2 with 8. We're figure skating around infinite.
Eliminated a few of the letters. G and P are 2 letters that I've eliminated. So I'm down to 24. There's a few more, but those I've taken right out because, well, G is the newest, and that is the hex. That's the 6. And look what happens when you take the G out of fight. You have, Phi T. You don't have fighood. Now, those letters each have an intention. I've already explained every letter has its own special layers. Like R, Ro is spirit breath, Greek. And there's other layers to it, but I'd stick with what I know, what's real to me. These are the tools I know that I need because they're the ones I know. So I trust them. So take the G out of fight, and you've got sacred creation of love, or the cross you're crucified on in consciousness, Phi T. Fist, Phi T, hold a light, or, carry out the dead.
All right.
Carry out the dead, you can pronounce it deed. Carry out the deed, carry out the dead. So I let the deed carry out the dead, and the dead carry out the deed. And I'm good with that. There's your quad, there's your cross. I'm good. Enjoy that, Those are your typical taxpayers that might grumble a little bit and whatever. They're still... But again, I'm not judging this. I'm looking at... I was there. I cannot look at this objectively unless I was there. Yeah, I was an intellectual retard, and I still am to a certain degree until I get even further down this road. But I'm willing to accept that fact that it's something that in the program that still needs broken. And every day, it's like I go to bed at night thinking, what the hell am I going to do tomorrow to top this? And I wake up with it.
Right. That's what I keep wondering.
And it happens every fucking day. It's like, and of course, that's the ego in the self-doubt, So every day, and now I'm at a point where, as soon as that comes, shut up, you're going to go to bed and wake up with it anyway. Oh, okay. So I mess with myself. How do you think I figure my shit out?
But that's the thing is I'm trying to get over to the left side, and they don't want me there because I'm not trying to be some intellectual friggin', but it's the vocabulary because I know that it's all just stuff, but it's.
Oh, misery loves company. Trust me.
Yeah, and I think it's this fractal, like you say, because there's infinite. And that's why I know it's like this life that I had. Well, it's a complete friggin' illusion. It's a rerun. But this is the story that I want to tell you real quick. This will only take a couple of minutes. I was 16 years old, right? And 16. Me and my friend, his name's Kevin Freeman. Freeman. And we took a hit of mescaline, right? And I never hallucinated. I don't do it anymore, but. Anyways, what had happened is we're standing out in front of Rama, right? Of all names, Rama. So
yeah,
Yeah, bowl. Yeah, you could probably break it down better than I. I mean, I see some pinpoints there, and if I took time, yeah, bowl-a-rama, right? We're standing out front, and where this kid was great too, man. He's good spirit, kinship, and he, because with anyways, he we're just cracking up laughing, right? It was wintertime, and we're smoking a cigarette, sitting out there, just cracking up laughing, and really didn't notice anyone. Then all of a sudden, this car pulls in, and 4 or 5 people get out of the car, right? And we're just laughing, looking at each other. They walk by us, right? Now, this is the kicker. You talk about the Matrix where he sees the cat go by, and then he sees it again, and he had deja vu, right? He says, I think that cat just walked by. And there was a glitch in the system. Well, this is why there's a glitch in this friggin' system, because when those people walked by us, right, within or less than 10 friggin' seconds, I see the same. I didn't see the car pull in, but I see the same group of friggin' people get out of the car.
Do it again.
Walking. And I look at him. I'm looking at Kevin, and I stopped laughing, but he's still laughing, because I just noticed what the frig just happened, and because I was paying attention, and he's still laughing. I'm like, Kevin, right? And I'm perplexed, and I'm looking at the car and the people, and I'm looking at him. I'm saying, didn't those friggin' people just walk by us like 5 seconds ago? And he starts shaking his head, yeah, laughing. I says, well, answer me. Yes. So, then all of a sudden I just dropped the whole friggin' moment that I was in, cracking up laughing, and went into Bolorama to look if there were any exit places, right? There were none. And I didn't even think to look for the people, right? And so I go back outside, and we go back outside, and I'm thinking to myself, but how the fuck, how'd that happen, right? So then I just let it go, right? But now, right, I'm thinking, well, it's one of two things, right? What I'm thinking is, where the fuck did the first group of people go?
Well, see,
if the first group walked by, then all of a sudden the same friggin' people go by us again. What happened to the first group?
Well, see, this is our way. I got to share this. This is our way. That's why I tell people, what are your stupid spirit tricks? Things that have happened to you that are like just impossible and wild. What that is us reminding ourselves during the game that it's just a game, and that it is all magic, and you're living in this beautiful little meat stick illusion of the game of not God as God, thinking that you're not God. Right?
Yeah.
And well, that's I call it, that's a mini time jump, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a hiccup to show the different linear timelines, right? That happened to me with the mortgage documents. It took over a couple of days, but what that told me at that time was, well, everyone can talk about time travel, this and that. Of course, it's all real. Of course, it is.
Yeah.
And you don't need a machine to do it. You are that time machine, and you choose where your reality of consciousness is now. So this is why I know, and I don't think this, I don't believe, I know this. This is why I know I am immortal.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
I've seen my last tombstone, okay? I'm good. I'm moving on. Until the next round of Pisces, and we'll play this stupid game again, maybe, I don't know. Who knows what we've got figured out for ourselves, but all I know is it's a perfect ending. Just accept the perfect ending if you're okay with, like, woohoo! Or, keep playing the same meat stick game, and have a look at the people around you, right? This takes all of the energy out of, well, those poor kids and all this. Oh, God, you're buying the cosmic joke. Those are just points of consciousness that have come in, experienced it, and we all went through that. We've all been through that. And look at it going, oh, look at all the youngsters coming into the game. Woohoo! And then they're just going to loop back and back and back. And as you improve your timeline, you're going to see those things change because it's an infinite now. And you choose what version of it you want. I choose not to shun the truth, shun, where it's Versailles into creation mind, O-N. Spirit into creation. Right. Truth of spirit into creation mind. That's the Versailles on. Bolorama. I want to touch on that one because that's so funny. Let's just a quick breakdown. Bow to L. Bow to the intent of the light within of magnetic. Bola, or the law of Ra-Ma. Ro-Ma. Get rid of, and there's aroma, right? Smell, scent, say-nt, right? Nostrils, Gnostics, nose, connected to the heart. It's all the threads connect. And it doesn't take long. You can pick anything and thread this the same way. And it starts with taking a word or two or three or four and really sounding them out and bring in every...
The Rama, too.
Yeah, Rama, yeah.
You say that? The Ram?
Yeah, the Ram.
The...
Yes, it's all there.
Wow.
And an A can sound like an O, so it's Rome. I just silence all the vowels and I make them my own.
Yeah.
Right? Go back to ancient Hebrew. These are other clues. They didn't have vowels. They just had with sound minds, consonants. Yeah. And you know what? That's why that judge bowed to you too, because it's a part of him that he could recognize and said, "I don't want to friggin' screw with this friggin'." Well, no, you can't mess with truth. That's what I'm talking about. You cannot mess with truth. Like even during all of
this one.
Yeah, all the mayhem I went through was to quickly listen. I got to tell you, I feel so honored to have everything dispossessed of me in one night, so that I could find all of this as quickly as I have. A lot of people are astonished. I've only been in this since early 2010.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing.
Well, that's just to the degree that all you need to do is stand in truth. I've known people in this 20, 30 years.
I know, huh?
And they still don't get it. There's people in it way longer than me, and that's okay. I'm the point of consciousness that need to get this, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm the only point of consciousness there is. Everything else is just illusion, and that's how I treat everything. And I play with it. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering if area code 270 is going to jump in here or not. Mic's open. You put your hand up. I'm not that scary tonight, am I?
Might be.
Maybe.
You're blowing everybody away here with our...
Aren't we fun?
Absolutely. Hey, I'm gonna put the phone down for a second. I gotta go take a go to the bathroom.
You gotta go and purge, baby. It's all good.
I gotta go. Yeah. I already got enough. All right, I'll be back.
Don't take too long, or I'll call you a baiter of the master kind. Besides, hey, listen, every point of this is what I love about consciousness, and this whole thing of male, female, and there's only one, right? So all we are is it's just masturbation, just with different points of view. That's all. And look how much control that has on us. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. So did 270 make it in the call here or what? Hello? Anybody else want to jump in here? It's we got a little less than 38 minutes until top of the hour. You can call in 661. Oh, there's Alvita. Yay! 661-467-2401. And of course, you can Skype in. Once you're on the board, all you got to do is hit 1 on your dial pad, or open the dial pad on Skype and hit 1 there. It lets me know you want in. Oh, and there's James. Oh, what a great day today. Really curious on the feedback on this one.
Hello.
How are ya?
I'm great, just like you.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes, it's awesome. Awesome. That's the only way to be, all right? We don't quit till everybody's great, and they know it, you know?
I just keep telling everybody they're God, and I get beat up for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I know, like you said, a bad thing. I feel the vibes when I post that stuff on my Facebook page. I could just feel it like, this bitch is crazy. She done lost her mind, you know? I'm like, I found it.
And you are the crazy kind I love to be with. You're a Gemini, baby, and let's rock this mutable planet into something fun.
Oh yes, we gonna teach him how to
I'm back.
dance.
There you are. Hey, we got Elvita in here, and we got James as well. So Just letting you know when
Hey, James. Hey, Alvita.
Hi, Kate.
How are you, James? Hey, James, I got to tell you, thanks. That was awesome today. I hope everybody had a good time. I'd love to have seen some of their faces when I was talking.
Well, it was only a good time energy that was there, so they had to have a good time anyway. It was incredible. It was incredible in the sense that people sat, asked questions, you watched the noddings of their heads. It was just quite incredible. Obviously, made me think that the next time it can only be better, you know. However,
it only gets better from here, baby. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's only in the past. However, I come in tonight because you know, the energy is just incredible. I'm enjoying again listening and enjoying the silence of the listening, and it's beautiful. And I thank you for taking the time out of your day today and spreading the word a bit more.
That's what a one who serves all does, and it's with such bliss that I can do it. You see, that's the thing. When a good energy is there, I love to feed into it and feed from it at the same time. It's a beautiful sine cosine of neutral, and it ebbs and flows in perfect unison, right? I'll give you an example. And I am eternally grateful for every contrast that shows up at this table so that I can illustrate something. That's why what I want people to understand, remember that, okay? Everything, you cannot make a mistake. Only the ego thinks that a mistake has been made. So if you ever feel that, that's ego. So now you know how to spot it. Okay, so now you've spotted it. Here's what we get out of it. And we have had countless contrasts at this table where something happens one night, the next night it gets addressed, and it might sound negative, but it's not. What it's doing is it's showing the contrast of what needed to be uncovered. And what a blissful energy that is to me. Once I can take the time to sit back and really look at what was going on. Because while you're in the middle of it, sometimes it's very hard to see until you step back from it. So that's why I just let things unfold as they unfold, and then go, I'm going to have a look at that. That was really interesting. Why was it like that? What happened here? What was that? And why did I feel that? And so I take the time. This is the difference. I take the time to observe that. Because if there is any sort of an emotional response within me of any kind whatsoever, that's gotta put a note there. I'll check that one. That was a hidden little bastard. I'll find that one, and we'll do that. And I make my list, and then I go down it, and then I put myself in the center of it, and I make everything my fault. It's because I'm cause. Well, if you want to, here's the thing: if you want to say that you're the causal being, then everything is your fault.
Right.
Funny how that works, eh?
Yeah, I feel as though I'm stitching together a blanket, and each new energy, whether words or whatever, is this piece that I was waiting on to put in this part of the blanket, and then that leads me on to another piece that I wanted to put in this part of the blanket. So it's all like these areas of life that we can capture and see it as a great montage. Power that we have.
I'm going to put that in perspective because you hit a very important key there. I don't know about any in North America. There's something like echoing going on. So just let whoever know if there were speakers on. Thank you. North America, they love their hockey and baseball cards. Okay, I'm not sure what they have in the UK. If they have collecting or trading cards for football players, soccer as they call it here. But let me use the example of this. Imagine every one of us is collecting hockey cards. And as kids, we used to trade these things, right? Oh, I've got 2 of these, and I'd like to get one of those. And then you know, maybe depending on how quote rare the card was, you would have to give up 1 or 3 or 4, whatever it was, to get that card off somebody else. So just like in real hockey, it's funny as hell. But here's the thing. You're not trading cards. What you're doing is duplicating the card so that you're giving that really rare card to somebody else and you're still keeping it yourself. So you're multiplying that same card through others. There is no trading going on here. There is pure sharing. So let's say I have, like you were saying about doing a tapestry or a quilt. Whatever piece of the quilt I have, I never give that piece of quilt up. What I do is I give you that piece that you can put in your quilt, and if you have something in your quilt, you keep your piece, and I take that same piece. Now it has multiplied, and put it in my quilt. And this is what we do. You don't lose any cards in this. This is truth. You don't lose any truth by giving truth. And that's the whole thing about the ego program of competition. So what you're doing is you're going forth, like it says in the book, go forth and multiply. It doesn't say go forth and, get everybody else's shit. Did it say that? That's what the churches teach, apparently. Right? Go forth and, do unto others, then split, I guess, is their motto. So what you're doing here is that same card or piece of quilt that you give to another, you still have that piece of quilt. You've just multiplied it by giving it to another who's going to give it to another. Like how many you guys have heard my songs, yeah? Intro song, for example. So whose song is it? Changed by you hearing it? Well, you had your own version of that song or that piece of the quilt, but it's still the same quilt. Does it take away from the original song just because somebody else heard it? No. It actually builds on it. Because new ideas, and if you're planting the right ideas, if you're sewing the right quilt, if you're weaving with the truth and you're sharing that, you're making a larger tapestry in a collective sense. This is not a hive mind, and people get confused between collective and hive. The whole idea of consciousness is to experience itself in separateness, while you have all consciousness yet retaining an individual point of you. You don't lose that. And people have you will actually lose more of yourself by being part of the hive mind of typical mankind society. Unless you have never seen uniforms, you might not get this concept. Right? That's a hive mind. That is one who is robotic, that cannot think. They are cyborg. Right? Borg, cube, coincidence? Probably not. So go forth and multiply. Dare to take your beautiful pieces of quilt and simply share them with another. And sometimes, I don't need that piece of quilt. That's an ego says that. The true spirit says, I'm weaving a quilt of the universe. And now you're going out not only sharing all of your pieces of quilt, but others are bringing new pieces that you needed to finish your whole picture. And that's what we do at this table. That's why this whole idea of imprinting a reality on another is merely an example for self to look within self. We all have these people around us. Me, not so much anymore. But I go back throughout my life, and I watched how many people have imprinted their reality by bringing their woes to me. And then and of course you identify with it, and the old meat stick game, and I feel bad, and the next thing you know, you are created in their image. Because everything that we become effect to is what we become effect to. That's why the Hermetics and the Gnostics fucked off. They wanted nothing to do with society, because they got tired of people trying to imprint their shit into their universe, and we're trying to keep the world clear in their world. See, that's the thing about this table here that we sit at. I put myself out there every single night, but I keep myself separate from it, so I can be the observer as well, and I won't let anyone imprint on me. Go ahead.
You know what I did? I went to the hardware store and bought a shovel and took little boy Blue and buried him along with his shoe. Right?
Perfect.
That's perfect. So I hope he likes his show.
Well, you know what? It's all good. I got to tell you, give yourselves a big spiritual pat on the back. You're here. You're immortal. Don't worry. I know this already. And you will, if you don't know it yet, you will very shortly. And the fact that I just said that, you said okay, means that you already know you're immortal. Sound like James is going to jump in there. Is that you opened up your mic there, James?
Yeah, thank you, Kate. Kate brought two things to my mind. Immortality was one of them, and the other point we spoke of just there. Anyway, it's in the past. It'll come back. Immortality. I recall a chart of life that I had seen, and at the bottom scale of the chart was death. The which fell beyond apathy, and around the middle of it was apathy. At the very top of the scale was immortality, which is where we see ourselves, which is that ultimate happiness, the ultimate sadness being death. And it's what came to my mind when you mentioned immortality, and I'm sure that the word will change as we move to a new plane.
Well, let's take apathy apart.
Yeah.
Apathy can be that total failure feeling, which for me is below body death, but or a path in the tree of life. And of course, a path E, which is a path of consciousness. E reversed is 9, consciousness. Redefine every freaking word you get your head on, and once you do that, you have neutralized it. You've created a neutron in between the proton and the electron to balance that energy. Now you can use it with pure intent. Now you've regained the mote ability of that song, of that word, of that letter.
Yeah, the other point that came to my mind, sorry, I know you were coming in, I do apologise. The other point that came to my mind was these people feeding you their problems. I recall when I first learned about like having local communities, people, if you had someone that you could go to and talk your problem to, these people were heroic. They started to be looked upon in the community as oh yeah, these are the people. And then you sat down and you think, what is it as the person? What is it that's happening here? And you realise that as your sack of problems is getting bigger, it's because people are enjoying coming because you're listening to their problem, and then you're realising, hold on a little second, they're going away happy. I've still got their problem. And I'm feeling great because I've got this big sack of problems and I'm well known in the community. I'm only well known in the community for carrying other problems. When I communicate with you, I feel as though, but incidentally, I left my sack of problems a long time ago. But when I'm communicating with you, I feel that this is like a hydrogen balloon that is getting bigger and bigger with hydrogen. So the floating is easier, you know.
Couldn't agree more. And isn't it funny? Fun. Yeah, I mean, look, and I say this to everyone because I know you've all experienced this. You were the ones that everybody came to with their meat stick problems. And as soon as they came to you with their meat stick problems and you'd already figured this out and didn't want anything to do with it, all of a sudden you weren't such a friend anymore. Because misery loves company, so misery will go off looking for its own kind. As soon as you put the kibosh on the misery, guess what doesn't show up anymore? And when they do show up, they're a new improved version of them because you fixed yourself in your own timeline of your own moment of conscious now. It's so easy. Fix yourself, fix the universe. This is why I love having my quiet time, because that's when I've got the hood up, the mind, right? I've got all the tires off, Phoenicians, right? And I am going at this vehicle of mine, and I'm souping it up. I'm taking everything that's old, rusted, decayed away, and I'm putting on the chrome-plated shit. I'm putting on the, everything that makes it go faster, safer, quicker, everything godlike.
Fine-tuning it.
Yeah, radio. Taking the radio dial and, mess around with the radio dial. If it's not coming in perfectly, well, the radio's not going to fix itself. You kind of got to go over and nudge it a little bit with that little dial thing. And you're the radio. You're the transceiver. This is why I said earlier, yeah, of course I'm a deceiver. It depends, and it says the deceivers will be everywhere. Yeah, when it says everywhere, it literally means everywhere. So I'm going to prove to you that the deceivers are everywhere. You have to have the fine-tuning fork to see if someone's trying to dupe you, and you'll feel it. You don't have to think this. You'll actually, if you're thinking, you're wrong place to be. You need to feel this. So of seeing truth or not seeing truth, that's what a deceiver is. They're both, there's no more polarity in the word. Next time you hear someone say, oh, they're just a deceiver, you're going to hear that word differently. Because it doesn't have a positive or negative intent anymore. It is now neutral. It is a neutron in the atom. So toss that one into your mode of truth, because now you have the power of the spell of that word. Literally. And the more words you break down and see the mirror opposite, refuse to say I don't want it or to rejoin it as an electrician, now that word is powerless in your realm. You cannot be caught in that spell. You've neutralized it. Take every word and make it its opposite to neutralize it. And every word does this. I haven't found one yet. I've been trying. I can't find one. Even up means down, right? Because the P is backwards, so it's the intent of going backwards. So if up, well, backwards of up is down.
Even no. Nope. No P. Nope.
Yep. But play around with things. You know what's really good practice with this? I found, and this is going back a few years, I used to mess around like this stuff all the time, not knowing why at the time, but I know why now. Of course I do. I just wasn't aware of knowing everything at that time. I'm more aware of knowing everything now. And I'm going to be even more aware later of knowing everything. You see what I mean? It's not a level of knowingness. You already know everything. It's a level of being aware of what you know. And you will only find this when you seek one thing, the law of truth, which is love. La Ve. When you get the law of truth, La Ve, then you become the La Va, the creator of the igneous or the igneous rock. You create worlds that way.
Yep.
Time to be the whirlwind, eh? Make the D silent. What have you got? Every letter can be silent. You can redefine everything. I was going to share this earlier today, James. Any of your people that are still dealing legal stuff, have them play around with the courts. This is a lot of fun to do. Because every document that the courts send out is not four-cornered. It's not a sealed document. It's an open document. So four-cornered on the front and the back. Change it. All you got to do is, I was saying this to someone the other day. It says, so-and-so will be evicted on such and such a day. Well then, so-and-so will not put the V, the vagina, V, to put the word in there. It's your creation. It's open space. They leave any space in a document, you can fill it up. That's what space is for creating. So start creating. So put not, and beside it write K-N-O-T and strike a line through it so they know that it's the negative version if they want to be polarized. And then four-corner the thing and send it back. Just to see what happens. Oh, but, see what I mean? Everyone wants to do this shit, right? They that's the leap of faith, right? People have no problems taking the first leap of faith, right? It's like I said earlier today. It's like putting a bullet in a gun, taking a shot, hitting the bullseye, and then thinking that was so great, and then you pick up the empty shell and put it back in the rifle and wonder why it still clicks with no bullet, right? You can't shoot the same bullet twice, but you can shoot the same target twice with two exactly the same bullets. You just got to get the balls up to get the second bullet in the chamber.
Sometimes I feel in your up-down analogy that fear is down, love is up, and therefore from a percentage point of view of people who understand, they are still in the down mode, in the fear mode. And sometimes the coming up is the difficulty for them, because those big steps they thought they were taking all their life weren't even tiny steps compared to what it is to cross that fear barrier. And for some unknown reason, people feel fear, and fear keeps fear.
Well, hey James, I got to tell you, it's so easy, and I have everyone else in this world is fully my concern and not my concern at all, because I know they're me anyway. So anybody that wants to play in the same loop, that's what consciousness is doing. This is a toroidal field working inside itself. If you can get the notion that the last person, let's say you were at a funeral and you saw an empty cocoon, the butterfly was gone. The butterfly went back to that birth date that they were born to come back through the same game in a different timeline that you're not aware of. It exists. It's real. Infinite now. So what is your concern? You're going to be in that timeline, an older version of you, doing the exact same things right up to the point if they die at the same time again, then they're going to figure it out and maybe do it differently. Because we've been sharing truth with each other every point of our lives, whether we are aware of it or not. Now, there's the key to it. So I don't see death as anything but a re-loop back into the Groundhog Day for another point of consciousness that is not ready. And that's okay. I've done it many times. Why would I want another point of me to not experience this beautiful walk of awakening? I've just got tired of the merry-go-round. That's the only difference. I got off the unicorn, went back to the Eric Center, stood there and watched, and I wait now for things that come, and I see them all the time, so I know what my full circles are, and they happen very quickly because I see the revolving doors for what they are. As soon as I see something that that resonates with me, which happens all day, I look at why, what was the last connection to it, connect the dots, and go, yep, got it. And this is how I literally collect consciousness. It's fucking awesome. And people beat me up for it. I love it. It's so funny. It's like today, James, remember the guy when you said about hugging a tree? And I heard a couple of people in the audience laugh.
Absolutely. I expected them to laugh anyway. In fact, I'm not sure where you come in, but before I mentioned the tree, I says do it when you're on your own, when no one else is
there. I was there for the whole thing. Now, and you heard how I came at it whenever I came into the call to prove that everything you said was absolutely true. And what it did was you gave me this beautiful contrast of, you think it's funny? Well, let me show you how funny the ego is. And I said those that laughed at that missed the purest truth of all, in that what the tree represents. And the fact is, if you're laughing at somebody else that hugs a tree, that's how defined your reality is in caring about what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
So you're created in their image, not yours. So who's laughing at who now?
Yeah. Did you hear me? Did you hear me feigning when they laughed? Did you hear me fainting? Did you hear me caring?
Well, you just went right on through it, and you said, yeah, people are going to laugh. And gosh darn it, you were right, and I just made a point of making you right, if that was okay with you.
I know you. Yeah, and I love you for that. You know I love you for that. I love you anyway. But
you had a beautiful energy today, James. I got to tell you, you were on a tear, and I was sitting back. I was in the car listening. I was sitting outside in the car. That's where I did it from, the show. And I'm sitting back going, oh, this man's on fire today. And then as soon as I heard, I don't know who it was laughing or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just another point of us anyway. There's that us, intent feminine, masculine feminine, US. Oh, something to do with the United States? Oh, yeah, that's right, it is. Yeah, the magnetic electric. Mere icon. Yeah, American. Yeah, that's what I thought too. When you start resounding things and repronouncing things, especially with accents change everything so much.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I keep going back to the something I learned in my life. One of the greatest poets in the world, Keats or something like this, was written a letter by one of his students, and on this letter it says, "Look, I really love what this is all about, but can you just tell me, how did I become a poet?" And Keats responded by saying, "Why didn't you choose something simple like being a brain surgeon or an astronaut or something?"
Hey, James, I don't want to jump in here, but I have to because I have to tinkle, so I'm going to hand the headset over to Mary for a sec. But keep going. Here she is.
Cool. Hi, Mary.
Hi, James. How are you, darling?
Haha, darling, I'm just like you. Thank you.
So you are.
Yes, I am. So, I've lost the trail of my story, so as my mother used to say, it was either a lie or it wasn't important.
Yes, actually, my dad had the same statement. If you've forgotten what you were going to say, it must have been a lie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Actually, therefore, it wasn't a lie because the story has returned, and it was the letter that the student wrote to the famous poet, and he responded by when the student asked, how do I be a poet? How do I do it? Just tell me. And he says, well, why didn't you choose something simple like brain surgery or an astronaut or something like this? He says, to decide to be a poet, he says that you can write words for 35 years before one line of them belongs to you.
Isn't that a true statement?
Yeah. So when I speak, I often question that, have I given my energy when I may be using the words of others that were hopefully intended to lay that energy anyway?
Yes, that's quite true. Often I hear words coming out of my mouth that have been other people's. However, during the process of my understanding, it sort of morphs in its intent.
Yeah. My next thought, Mary, is that are you visiting, or has your accent just stayed with you?
Well, I'm a stubborn bitch, Irish. You can take the woman out of Ireland, but you can't take the Irish out of the woman,
I'm thinking that because I'm enjoying your lilt, that the South would I be close at the South?
Actually, I'm from Bahalachlia, which would be Dublin, and I'm from the...
Dublin.
Yes, I'm from South County Dublin. It's part of the metropolis now, but when I was growing up, it was still fairyland.
I had a business in Belfast, and had therefore cause to move around Belfast during those times that we will not speak of, and the some of the beautiful differences between all languages is like in the hustling metropolis of Belfast against the hustling metropolis of Dublin, and in Belfast there is more of a brogue where it's like hitting you in the face, and in Dublin it's like stroking your eardrums,
Yeah. The further south you go, the more it starts to sing. By the time you get to Cork, it's a lully. So Kate is back here now, so she's ready to chat with you, so I'm going to hand you over. Thank you so much.
Love as always, Mary.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I just want to do the shout-outs. I'm not going to roll over tonight. I think we've had plenty to ponder, and got some work to do on essays and whatnot. Anyway,
absolutely.
Great big thank you to Paul Giovanni and criticalmassradio.co.uk, and for all you guys that chip in to help keep the table rolling right along. It's your table. Hey, why not, right? Row your own boat. So thank you for that. Anyone that wants to help, of course, head to criticalmassradio.co.uk, and of course others that are doing the same work, please if you can't be the one out holding the torch and leading the way, then, it's like I often said, if you can't stand on the hill taking the heat, then pass up some ammo. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. We all play our roles here. I mean, even in the allegory of great armies, the armies stopped when the supply lines couldn't reach them. So we have this table and the front line. This is the cutting edge of consciousness. I already know this, but I know now that you do as well. That's how critically important you are. And I can't stress to everybody enough how incredibly special you are just for being at this table.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not special.
You God.
Right. Special. Hey, I just broke down accent. You probably broke this down before, Kate, too. I'm
Alternating
sure,
current of creation mind into love, yeah.
AC scent.
Yeah, AC saying T, yeah.
Scent. Yeah, mind, yeah. Scent, well, you send.
Well, it's like
send the letter,
when you accept things, take the P out because it's silent anyway. You might as well get rid of that nonsense. So you have act set, right, which is alternating current of God. Set. Sunset.
Yeah.
Set being 7. You see, heaven and hell are both the same thing. Why do you think they call hell? It comes from Helios, which is the sun. Interesting, eh?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, here's a little game you can all play. This is easy. Go to the dictionary. The dict, shun, Aries, which is the dict, well, we all know what that is, shun the god of war, Aries, which is also the ram of light, Aries, A-R-I-E-S, depends on how you spell it, or A-R-E-S. You see, the same sound, which one do you mean? And up until this point, anytime you said Aries, it was already assumed that you were meaning the god of war, so we've just nullified that. So now you can choose which side of the fence you want to be on by sitting on the fence. Isn't that cool? You see, in order to get off the fence, you got to be on the fence. In order to be on the fence, you got to get off the fence, all at the same time.
Aries, Maries. The Maries, magnetic Aries.
But you got to make the magnetic silent because the Greeks told you.
Yeah.
So with me, when I say Aries, the M is silent. The M is silent in everything I say. You might hear it, but it's silent.
Isn't it amazing? They say it's all Greek to me. Like when someone's speaking, they don't understand or comprehend, and like that's all Greek to me. It's like, yeah, they were telling the truth.
How true is that? Now you know why. See, that's the thing I love about this game. I can take little old sayings. It's like, look at the essay, the long and short of it. Well, the long form, short form. Of course it was. But that was one version of it as it was real to me. Somebody else has a different idea of what the long and short of it is, And most guys get nervous when I say that, but that's okay, too. That's the long and short of it, eh? Yeah, okay. You demand in your own mind. So we got about 3 minutes until we're done here. We have 22 callers, by the way. It's nice to see that the sacred creation of all showed up, right? That's the God plus you, 22. The quad, baby. So any final thoughts from everybody before I roll out of here?
Just okay.
No, well, I want to thank my grandsons. They didn't speak, but they are online, so I'm happy to have you here, guys. Love you.
Rest and relaxation, the R&R crew. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah, get them to show up some night. I'd love to chat with the boys. I really would.
I love you too, Grandma.
All right.
Yeah, you guys have a good night.
Yeah, everybody have a good night.
Thanks,
guys.
So, well, I'll roll out with a little bit of a tune here, and then just to set the mood, and I'm going to play the signature song because I really want you to get the one line. You can try to steal her gold, but she'll give it willingly. You just got to be willing to accept all things, right? The cave is full. I promise you. You can't empty this cave. You can try. Good luck. But it's limitless. So on that happy note, I'll catch you guys tomorrow night, and I know there will be lots more fun because that's all we do here, right?
Right.
Lots of aha moments. 90 seconds. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to play the whole song anyway as soon as I can find it. There it is. Anyway, this one I wrote for all of you. So when you listen to this, listen to it like I wrote it for just you, because I did. And you'll know why when you listen. So much love, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side tomorrow night. Sweet dreams. Here we go.
Love it.
I've never seen before my eyes this dream. I've never known what makes this child to see. Like tears from a mountain pouring gently to the sea, a curiosity. Will you dare to touch my soul? Is love so frail that we can't hope to be more than we are, more than our hearts can see? And if for any reason on this field of broken dreams we stand to lose it all, then for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain, for lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases the rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. It's never clear, this path of destiny. That's why we're here, to find our need to be. Elusive as a rainbow, we can try to steal her gold, but she'll give it willingly. Will you dare to ask her though? We'll find a way, we must believe in us. There'll come a day, we'll soar, and when it does, the sky will have no boundaries. I will challenge every sea, I will never lose this dream. 'Cause for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain, for lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases the rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. On this field of broken dreams.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Yeah.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, the one you love to hate and hate to love. Isn't it great? It's awesome. My only dream is that you hate me enough to wake up or love me enough to wake up. Either way, you win. Funny, so do I. Isn't that neat how that works? I thought it was really cool. Here's your big challenge. A couple of things I want to go over tonight, in particular, and it seems to be an ongoing sort of thing on occasion of others trying to imprint their realities on others. And I've covered this countless times before, but let me use this example. As soon as someone comes up to you and you're just kind of mind your own business, and they look at you, what's wrong with you? You seem angry, or you seem upset, and you're not. You're fine. You're maybe just off in the dream something. They go, no, I'm fine. I said, no, you look upset to me. No, I'm fine. And that before you know it, they've imprinted their reality on you, and you bought it. Me, I just look at it. No, I'm fine. Anything further to that, I'm just going to tell you to fuck off. Now I've imprinted your reality. And you will. You'll fuck off. Promise. Right? And anything you're trying to imprint on somebody else by making a claim as to their reality is exactly what you need to go and look in the mirror for. That's the real red pill. Morpheus didn't really explain it too well, but let me explain it for you. Here's how you get to see how attached you are to everything in your physical universe. Get up right now, walk out the door, and don't look back. To the degree that you can do that is the degree that you're a slave to this place. Now you can see your strings, Pinocchio. Tug, 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 puppet, puppet, puppet. Can't let go, can't let go. I've got this, I've got a house, I've got a family, I got that. See, that's why I keep telling people I am one of the luckiest beings on this planet. Because knowing full well that had I been playing the game the way it could have went, if all things legal were real, which they're not, it's quite the joke. That's the children trying to look after the babysitter. Okay? How's that going to work for mankind? Didn't think it'd work too well. But when you start seeing the things that you're possessed of by the things that you cannot walk away from, now you're seeing the quagmire that you are bogged down in. And like I said, I'm the luckiest of lucky in that in one night, my whole universe went up in a mushroom cloud where everything was stripped and ripped away. So obviously on my infinite times around on this merry-go-round called Groundhog Day, going through the life, dying, coming back at the beginning with more information, coming back through the same life, that's what your deja vu is. Those are your checkpoints to say, you're still doing the same shit. Time to change the path you're on. Unless you want to keep coming back and doing the same shit. Can you imagine living your life? Just think about it right now. Living your life exactly the same way again. Boy, that's fulfilling, isn't it? This is what it means to have the nails in the coffin. And the only way you pull out a nail is to pull out... It's very easy to spot an uber male or an uber female. They still need to collect some electrons or protons to balance that part out. And once they get that done, now they can start working on the neutrons. Because it's the neutrons that hold the whole atom together. It's another fractal of the same shit I talk about every single night. And for those that really want to see it, you will. And for those that don't, you'll keep saying but, you'll keep saying if, you'll keep saying maybe, you'll keep saying might, and then I'll remind you, keep going. You get to come back to this same game again. How'd you like it the first time? Ooh, you didn't like it that much. Is there anything you do different? Yeah? Well, here's your chance. You're being presented with the chance right now to do something fucking different. And what you decide to do is yours. But don't say door of opportunity hasn't knocked, because it just did. Again. What you choose to do with that knocking is you will either open the door and let the angels in, or you'll keep it closed and keep all the demons in there with you. You got some laundry to sort out. I know, I had some. There's a lot of stuff to let go, and there's a lot of fear attached to it. That's where you become the frayed cat, the frayed consciousness, spirit, crucified. No, there are no coincidences in the sounds. And I can take each and every single one of these and show you the full circle, if you want to see it. You see, where people think that I'm offering fish, not at all. What I'm offering you is this. This is what I found in my travels. This is what I found that worked. This is the fishing rod I use, the Phi Shine rod. I remember G is silent with me. I get rid of the curse. G is only half the spirit. And it's the hex side of it. It's a 6. Have a look at the capital G and you tell me it's not a 6. They didn't finish it, but the intention certainly shows where it's going, doesn't it? It's spiraling in, egocentric. And it's, of course, the newest letter in the English alphabet, which replaced the 7th letter, H, Ash, God. Asha, Asha, we all fall down, indeed. No, I'm not going to be gentle, because I care too much. I've got work to do on me. And this is how I do the work on me. I get to show it in the contrast. I get the beautiful opportunity of sharing these things with other points of you, other points of magnetic electric me, to bounce the reflections off to see what comes back, what I need to correct within me. That's what it means to correct your position. It's where we get together and we wreck it. That's what it means to be correct. We get rid of the shit together. But the ego wants to be correct. Absolutely it does. It wants to be wrecked all by itself. And it's doing a great job if you let it. Oh, I feel it all the time. But, Kate. Yeah, but, what? Can you walk out your front door right now? Can you leave it all behind? Now you see your trap. Well done. Pretty good one, huh? Now I dare someone to tell me they feel sorry for my position. Mirror, mirror. It is I who feel sorry for you, if I was to feel that. Just a literal comparison. The instant you decide to let go is the instant your kite will fly. You see, the anchor works in 2 ways. If the anchor is stuck and you can't get the anchor up, that's not a good thing. But if it's storming outside and your inside harbor is calm, throw your anchor there. That'll keep your ship still. Now it has a positive intent. Whereas most people are floating around in their ships, they're tied to every problem in their stormy seas. Wow, it's a hurricane. Better drop anchor. I don't think you'll see too many captains that do that. Not in the real world, anyway. What does a real captain do? Well, a real captain turns into the wind and drives forward through the waves. Never runs with them, because that'll capsize the boat. You plow right through the middle of it to get out of that storm. And as soon as you find safe harbor, then you drop your anchor and try to stay there for a while. And when you feel secure enough to move, then you'll weigh anchor, encore, aura, ship is mind. Correlate all of these things. Take the words and start looking how they work, and you will see all of the fractal layers. The whole Admiralty system is the human body, is the zodiac, is everything. Look at the words. Listen. See with your ears. Not I call my elves. Me elves. Not K-N-O-T. I. Yes, A-Y-E, or I, E-Y-E, or self, I. See how many different intentions there are in that? Which one are you doing? Oh, well, you're going to assume, based on the common Babylonian of English, everyday common speak, in whatever context we are speaking. When I said we, you didn't hear the French word yes, did you? When I said you heard Y-O-U. You didn't hear E-W-E. You certainly didn't see the capital letter U, which is intent. When you start peeling the layers off the words, then you start peeling the layers off the fractals, and you will see for yourself. It is that fucking simple. I can tolerate literal for a while. Right now I am speaking to you literally with a very anagogic approach to it. I have grown long weary of really, really, really neat words that people use and have no idea what the word is. It just sounds cool because everyone else is doing it, and I look cool if I use it. Yeah, well, then you're in somebody else's image. Welcome back to the Fool card. That's 0. That's Percival. Me, I'm hanging out with the Giants dance at the Universe, 21. The 777 called God. You see, now I have the choice. I can be both of those things whenever I choose to be. That's the contrast. From being the fool to being the universe. And what is even more funny is how stressed people get when dealing with lawyers and courts and judges and all the rest of that fucking nonsense. When they are the most baby of all. They are the babies trying to look after the babysitter. And you, the babysitter, are letting them, thinking they have power. The only power they have is that which you grant them. And here's the clincher. The very things that I am showing you right now with phonics is exactly the trap that is used. But when you've got a bunch of very low consciousness beings, very early in the game, ruled by their ego, their greed, their need for this new BMW, this big house, and all the rest of the fancy cars, that's why anything that comes along, and I hate using these words because of the dominoes that trigger, but I have to use them sometimes. It's like, what can a fucking Rothschild promise me? Nothing. I don't accept boxes that contain shined up dog shit with pretty bows on them. And when you really get what I'm saying, you will understand it. And your aha moments will go exponential for you. Or you can let someone else keep doing your thinking for you by letting them imprint their reality upon you. Or you can finally stand up like a grown-up babysitter and say enough. I was talking last night about writing your epic. This is where you get to the, you might pronounce it epicenter. Or the epicentaur. Everyone knows what a centaur is. It's half man, half fucking beast. And epi means under. Did you ever decide to maybe throw a slice through that word? At epic and enter? That's where you get to the real center of you. You've got to get in the middle on this. If you're polarized, judging, you are not in the middle. You are polarized. You're running protons or electrons, no neutrons. The neutrons are the things that balance the atom out. And even science goes, well, we're not quite sure what a neutron does. Well, you got the dark matter, and you've got what are the other two things? Oh, the hidden strong force and the hidden weak force. They don't even know what it is. And I'm trying to tell you what it is. It's you. The silence of magnetism, the true source of creation. This is not rocket science. And I just saw both versions of that run right by in perfect balance. Rokati, K-N-O-T. So I don't mind when people talk literal. It's the only way we can really explain things. It's when they get caught in it. By going through all of their Marsha dramas as to how they figured it out. Why don't you just share the concept? I don't need the French version of it. You need to pull out a clue. And every clue you find, in truth, is one nail pulled from that coffin. This is where you're leaving the I'm mortal game, if you can. If not, well, enjoy your trip back. Bill Murray had a hell of a fucking time with it until he got to the end of the movie. And I would recommend everybody watch Groundhog Day from this perspective. That's you, and you're coming back. Instead of it being one day, it's a full lifetime. Now, I don't know about you, but that's really motivational to me. That's the giddy up your horse. That's the mark of the beast, the horse of the beast. Universe is yours. So why limit yourself to little things? I mean, truly, if you are God, which I know you are. If I was God, and I know I am, this is what I would do. I would choose the path that sets me free versus getting back on the same merry-go-round, hopefully graduating to the outside ring where all the unicorns are, where you can actually have a look at what's going by you, and then you start noticing the things as you can do the complete circles. It was like I was saying yesterday about the Voynich manuscript. That came into my realm 5-10 years ago. And it showed up again. So I see it in the now as a full circle of that merry-go-round. And remember, these circles, the merry-go-round from the center to the outside, the center is moving very slowly. The outside is moving quickly because it's got to cover more area. So it depends on where on the LP you are. The further out on the wheel you go, the faster you're going, or if you've never been on a merry-go-round. Only those that stay towards the center of the merry-go-round can stay on it and see it in full clarity. But there's the trap too, because if you're at the center of the merry-go-round, you have a long way to go to get out. But you got to go in to get out. So this is why every curse is a blessing, every blessing is a curse. Because when you get to this point, you start noticing these things of, well, it's less tumultuous, so I'm going to go to the far outside. Everything's going to blur by me. I'm not going to see it until I start getting myself centered. Spiritually centered, not ego-centered. Remember I talked about the audience to director back to audience? It's the same thing. From the center of the merry-go-round to the outside, back to the center. Now you have a full scope of everything that's going on. And as things go by, they're going by much slower. And you control the wheel of fortune that you're on. How fast it spins and how slow it spins. Where you are on that LP is going to determine how quickly you're moving. I got to tell you, the singularity concept of bringing all things, up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. You travel far enough east, you're going to be west, aren't you? You travel far enough west, you're going to be east. Just depends on which direction you're going. I prefer to be at the center of my universe, in the heart, at which point it's still, and I can observe everything from a neutral position. I can start putting the neutrons back into the atom of the an atom me, magnetic electric. That's the problem with here. Yes, the number of the beast is 666. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. And you can tell this by how many neutrons they've collected.